Okay, good evening, everybody. It's 6 o'clock when we get started. Tonight's a three-part program. We try to stay on track. I know there are people at home. We thank you for tuning in. This presentation is being live streamed and recorded, so if you don't feel like you have to take all notes down right now, you can always go back to our YouTube channel and replay this should you so choose. Really quickly, I am Dr. Capstone. I am the high school principal here. Love it here, and you'll hear that spiel again in the 10 through 12 presentation, so I'll keep this part short. But this presentation is specifically for our ninth grade families who have interest in having their children, or children having interest in participating in our AP seminar and research program. To speak to this program, I'm going to invite up Dr. Julie Rossley. She oversees a big component of this program, and she's going to speak most specifically about AP seminar and a little bit about AP research. Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Dr. Julie Rossley. I appreciate your showing up tonight. So as Dr. Capstone said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about AP Seminar and AP Research. These two courses together constitute the AP Capstone program. Now, the first step on the way to the AP Capstone diploma, which is what a student would earn if he or she has taken AP Seminar as well as AP Research and passed both of these courses, as well as 4 other AP courses along the course of the child's high school career, the child would earn the AP Capstone diploma. Now, I see many of you are taking pictures, many of you in the audience. You don't have to do that. This is live streamed. I promise it will be up online shortly, probably tonight. So feel free. But if you want to take photos, go ahead. But it will be up on the website. So AP Seminar is a course that we offer to our 10th grade students. Now, when your child enters 10th grade, he or she has the option of taking English 10R, English 10H, or AP Seminar. Now, AP Seminar is interesting because if a child takes it, it means that your child is then not taking English 10R, nor is he or she taking English 10H. Essentially, it blends the content and skills of 2 courses into one. So this is a powerhouse course for a child who is in 10th grade to be taking. And I say that with, great seriousness, but I also say that because it's a wonderful opportunity for your child. It's a course that is taxing, it's a course that's trying, it may be frustrating, but it's phenomenal. My own child, I have 3 children, my eldest child went through this course a few years ago. It is one of the best courses she has ever taken. She didn't take it here in Wantagh, but the courses are very similar across districts in the sense of they are geared to what College Board needs, and in many districts, including my home district, as well as here in Wantagh, AP Seminar replaces an English class. So again, there's a great deal of rigor because the child is not just completing the AP Seminar requirements by College Board, but also taking a 10th grade English class at an advanced level, which is, the English is required by the New York State Education Department. So when a child sits in the AP Seminar, essentially AP Seminar English 10H course, the child's going to be exposed to different English books, as the child would have been if he or she was in our English 10H course. So over the course of the summer, the child will have a rigorous summer assignment. Now, this assignment is not one that should be done in the last week of summer. Definitely not in the last night of summer. It's an assignment that should be done throughout. And that way, if the child has questions, the teachers are available. So they're reachable by email, and they hold a meeting before the end of the school year to go over all of the requirements for this assignment. But the assignment is a good indicator as to whether or not a child will find success in this course. So, the AP Seminar College Board score breakdown. There are 3 tasks, essentially. Task 1 is an individual paper that the child completes in the first part of the school year. And that paper is worth 20%. There's also Task 2, which is the individual paper and the individual presentation. Now, that's something the child does completely alone, and that's worth 35%. And then there's the end of course exam. AP Seminar requires students to write an analysis of an argument, as well as to create a written original argument. Now, these 2 tasks seem daunting when you're looking at it and hearing about it now, like how does my child do that? That's what those papers that the child's going to be working on during the year, that's essentially doing that independently, not having, they'll be provided with research and then they will write to that, versus during the year as they complete tasks 1 and 2, when they're doing their individual papers for the team presentation and the individual presentation, the children are finding their own resources then. So the end-of-course exam is something that tests the skills that have been practiced throughout the school year. Now, it's important to note that this course is skills-based, of course, with reading, writing, speaking, and communicating, listening. But the child also has to be able to work with others. This is a course that requires teamwork. So to that extent, it's important that the child attends school regularly and that the child is able to engage after school with the team members. Because to find success on that team presentation, each child is contributing one component towards that team presentation. And if somebody's missing, the entire team hurts for that. Now, the second component on the path to the AP Capstone diploma is AP Research. This course is offered as an elective, and it's offered through the Social Studies Department as well as through our Science Research program. And depending on which route your child is taking will determine where that course is falling. The AP Research College Board score breakdown is 25% of a presentation in oral defense and 75% of a research paper. There is no end-of-course exam for AP Research. So there is that distinction between AP Seminar and AP Research. And I didn't mention this, but the AP exam for AP Seminar is offered in May during the AP exam weeks. Now, you may be asking yourself, is my child prepared for this? What does this look like? In Wantagh, our students were very fortunate. They do so well. These are our course breakdowns for the last year. So last year's students who took AP Seminar, who are currently juniors, all of them passed the AP Seminar exam. Now, to pass an AP exam, you need to score 3, 4, or 5. Those were our scores. You can see our mean score was a 3.64. We beat the state, and we beat the world. Go Wantagh. We are Wantagh. Yay! In AP Research, that's for the next year. So once your child sits in AP Seminar and successfully completes the course, the child will get the green light to go into AP Research. Again, it's not a core English course at this stage. So your child is going to need to make space in his or her course load to be able to take this course. Our passing rate was 89.9% last year. So that's the current senior class. And the average score was a 3.57. Again, we beat the state, and we beat the world. Go Wantagh. So you may ask, is my student ready for AP Capstone? Well, this laundry list of questions that I put up here will essentially tell you. And some of the salient questions to ask your child, and even to ask yourself as you consider guiding your child along this pathway, it's a challenging course. Again, I'm not hiding that fact, but it's absolutely doable. And sometimes it's good to live in a little bit of discomfort because that's where we grow, that's where we learn. But if your child's excited about the potential of a challenge of an AP class as a sophomore, they're still kind of young sophomores, but if they're excited for that and they're up for that challenge, then that's the first step to saying, yes, let's learn more about this. This might be our pathway. If your child is a strong reader, a strong writer, a strong communicator, if your child can manage his or her time, because remember, as we get older, more commitments seem to fall in our laps. So can we juggle all of these commitments? Is your child able to give presentations? Does he or she look forward to that? Does your child work well in groups? Again, I'm going to stress this. AP Seminar, it's almost one of those must work well with others, must share. We go back a lot of years to kindergarten. Did your child share well then? If not, it's okay. If your child can share well now, we're good. That's what we're looking for. There is a good amount of constructive criticism and feedback given in this course, often by peers. And that's really important because the teachers, in some ways, according to College Board, need to be a little bit of hands-off. They can't give necessarily direct responses to student work. So there's quite a bit of peer editing that goes on that's guided through the teachers earlier on as they model for the students. So if your child is able to take peer feedback, able to take constructive criticism, this could be an excellent fit. Is your child able to take initiative? And does your child value education over grades? Realize no grade necessarily defines a child. So your child may say, oh my gosh, I'm doing terribly in my English class, an AP seminar. Again, it's an AP seminar class. And terribly for some children is, a 97 as opposed to a 99 or 100. Or it's an 89 compared to a 94. Whatever the numbers are. But again, this is a college level class for somebody who won't see a college campus for a few years. What are the benefits? And I'm telling you now, as a parent who, again, had a child go through AP seminar and AP research, as an educator who strongly believes in this program, I'll tell you right now, there are some tremendous benefits. Aside from earning distinction, I heard parents in the audience talking about the idea that this is something that can go onto a college transcript. Yes, it certainly can. It's a nationally recognized program. And actually, I'll tell you a secret, it's internationally recognized. So if your child wanted to study abroad, whatever schools accept AP credits in other countries could potentially accept the AP Capstone diploma. They would certainly know what it's about. Your child would attain critical thinking skills. Additionally, your child would be empowered to conduct choice-driven research. They're picking what they want to study. Most courses of study don't offer that opportunity for a few years, but these students get it here as 10th graders. Here are some of the colleges that thus far have endorsed the AP Capstone diploma, recognizing that it's a challenging and rigorous curricula. Also, over 100 colleges, as I mentioned, have developed credit policies accepting AP Capstone, along with other AP courses as well. Does anyone have any questions? Yes? Correct. So those students who are traveling down the science research path, meaning that's their elective right now as freshmen, and then they would take AP seminar as their English class, and then they would take AP research on the science side. That would serve as their AP research. So they would be doing science research and AP research together. And that would drive their instruction in that AP research class. And then they wouldn't have to double dip. They wouldn't be taking 2 periods away from the child, one for AP research, one for science research. They get blended. You're welcome. Great question. No. We've essentially made the room so that the students who want to go through with the science research program, who are, very invested in that, they don't lose out on anything, and they're able to do everything. It's the same course, essentially. So what the child is doing in science research is being driven by AP research, and it may be the science research in the background. Sure. Hello. Sure. So AP research is meant to be open-ended. When a child enrolls in the course, he or she can study anything. But for those students here in Wantagh who are currently enrolled in our science research program, they will be steered in a certain pathway to be studying the science so that they remain in their science research curricula. Truly anything. Anything. It depends what other courses your child takes. So it's not a definite, and it depends how many courses. Like some students are traveling down different pathways, so they may have openings or availabilities, whereas others do not. So if your child is stacked with math and science and world language and English and everything, this may be like the elective as well as a lunch period. But if your child is taking other electives as well, then they can't all fit. There are only 9 slots in the day. Correct. Dr. Gazzone would like to add.
So I'm just gonna, it's too early to tell for every child. right? Every child in this building is unique and different, and they take different permutations of courses. You may have a child who's in love with music and wants to do double music, and we want them for that too. But at some point, decisions will have to be made. I don't necessarily want to tell you right now that your child is going to be one of those children that has to make that decision. We don't know how they're going to grow and develop and the passions that they connect to and things like that. But in my humble opinion, that's a problem for later on. You know, like, well, I think that's something that we could figure out and worry about later. And if AP research is something they truly want, then they'll have to make that decision. And if they have all these ideas of doing all these other fantastic electives that we have, and AP research is the one that's out, obviously we encourage everyone to continue with the Capstone program, but we're not going to make anyone stay, right? And there'll be guidance along the way from the teachers and from directors and from counselors. So I wouldn't worry about that right now. I would really be more concerned about the thought of AP seminar, right? And then research we'll worry about later.
Thank you, Dr. Zone. Are there any other? Yes. So when they work with the group topic, it is pretty much individualized, but if they'll be given a topic of study, but then it's the angle that they're taking is individualized. Does that help at all? Okay. Yes. Seminar is only in 10th grade, so is research. Research is only in 11th grade. They're married to their years. The difference is AP seminar is in lieu of an English class, whereas AP research takes an elective period because when the child is in 11th grade, he or she is going to take English 11R or AP language. Yes. No, it has to be recorded. No, no, we don't allow that because you have to be actively engaged in the sense of working with the peers, and you have to be receiving a score so that your scores can go off to College Board, because remember, you're working with a group for much of the course, so all work gets shipped up there, and then the child will be on the College Board roster. Hello. Generally, we keep them small. You'll see an AP seminar, it's usually about 22 kids, 25, maybe 24 kids in a class. We try to cap them. AP seminar is taught by 2 teachers in the room. So there are 2 teachers in the room, an English teacher and a social studies teacher for AP seminar. And AP research is usually much smaller. We try to keep those numbers like 12 to 15, and that's 1 teacher in the room.
AP Sem might be a little bit bigger just to get 2 teachers in there, but when we get to the research, we try to keep that small.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Yes. No. So the question is, if junior year they would take both classes. AP seminar is only for sophomores. It is in lieu of an English class. AP research is an elective that can only be taken in junior year. Yes. Great question. The question was, if you do not take AP seminar as a sophomore, are you not able to take AP research as a junior? That is correct. You must take AP seminar and pass it to move on to AP research as a junior. Yes. So to pass an AP exam, the student has to score a 3, 4, or 5. The question was, what is a passing score? So passing is at a 3, and then there's a 4 and a 5 as well you could get. Yes. Okay, so universities that accept the Capstone program, the question is, universities that don't recognize AP Capstone as a program, do they accept the credits? Is that the question? If they don't recognize AP Capstone as a program, it's likely that they will take the credits and use them as gen ed credits. They don't assign them to a specific course where the child is excused from, say, an English class. But they go in almost as gen ed credits that are used just towards graduation purposes. Generally, that's how it's offered. Some institutions may not accept them at all, and in that kind of an instance, it may be because it's such, a challenging school, a rigorous school, a difficult school to get into, that the child having taken AP Capstone is what opens that pathway to that institution because it is so prestigious. Great question. Any more questions? Yes? Great question. So the question was, in 11th grade, the course of study is driven, if the child is in, say, the science research program, it's driven by that science research for the most part, and that's where that child's focus will likely be, because he or she will take that pathway. Yes, that's correct. But in 10th grade, even though the course is taught by humanities teachers, it's not always humanities based, although please realize that College Board is going to dictate some of what is researched in that 10th grade year, because like this time of year, as the kids are gearing up for their group project, the College Board has just released its stimulus materials, which is a pretty crazy packet of resources that a child will have to access and apply and create these arguments about. So in that way, it's driven in some way by the child, but the complete autonomy is not going to happen when we're choosing humanities versus science until that junior year. You're welcome. Your questions are great. Do you have any more? Yes. No, this has not been presented. Tonight is. So the children are going to meet with their guidance counselors to make their selections, but the counselors aren't going to necessarily speak about this program. Online they will. As soon as this gets posted tonight, it goes the live stream. Absolutely. No, there is no separate presentation, but this is something absolutely you should share with your child if your child's not present tonight. Any more questions? All right, well, I thank you. If you think of anything, whether it's tonight or after tonight, please, you can always contact me. You can call me. You can email me. And I can help you in any way possible. I'd be happy to, or your child's guidance counselor. We're here for you. So any questions, we'll help you, okay? All right, thank you very much.
We're just going to wait 7 minutes to start the full presentation, 10 to 12.